I'm Julie.
And this is Chelsea.
And together we make two peas out the podcast.
LOL.
So we thought today we would do things a little different. We want to talk about our relationships, but we wanted to do it in a little bit of a funner, more creative way. And so we're going to be going through this article. It has facts of, or myths of relationships that are maybe making you unhappy because it's unattainable, unrealistic, and just not what's happening behind closed doors. So let's get started. The first myth: a great relationship should be easy.
Yes.
Lots of things come to mind.
Okay, yes, it should be easy in the sense that you are not constantly struggling in your relationship to get this person to see your value, to see your worth. Yes, it should be easy in that way, but no, it shouldn't be easy where you feel like everything is always perfect and at the first sign of a struggle, you're ready to bounce.
Yeah.
What do you think?
And I think it's so unrealistic to think that everything's going to be easy. Like, a lot of people will be like, oh my God, how are you and Kenny so happy? And it's like, we are super happy and I love him so much, but sometimes I can't stand that man.
I mean, like,
with love.
Yeah. With love, I feel like that too. But like, I think people always do comment on our relationship that it does look really easy on the outside. Like, people always say we look like a pair. You guys look like a pair of hands, is what one of our friends said. You guys just seem like a pair of hands. And so like, it should feel like that. It should feel like someone that it's easy to do life with them. It's easy to collaborate with them. You see your relationship in the lens of a partnership. Those are the ways it should feel easy. If you are coming into relationship, or should I say disagreements, and it's constantly feeling like you're convincing that person to want to stay with you, not the vibe. Leave that.
Or to be the person that their potential, tells you they are, not the vibe.
Potential is not it. No, don't
potential
live on potential.
Is not it. We're dating right now.
For real. Living for the now,
you get that potential.
For real. Call me when that potential arrives.
Let me know. That was my biggest thing. I'm not going to go on a tangent, I promise. But that was my biggest thing when I was single. It's like, with these dudes that don't want to commit or don't want to be in a relationship, like, I'm single. Like, that's fine. But, like, I'm not going to be this girl that's just sitting here waiting for you to figure it out. I'm going to live my life.
For real. Like, I think I married into the potential too many times. So I'll tell you, I learned that lesson for us. No, it's not the vibe.
Number 2, if your significant other is jealous, it means they love you. I have a little bit of a toxica, I feel like, idea on this. Like, I don't want to be controlled. I don't want to be told what to do. I don't want to be, accosted. But I need a little bit of jealousy. Like, I need you, to be a little territorial. I feel like that's what I need. Territorial.
For real. I want my man to be about me, but like, that is a really big trigger for me because I've had relationships where that jealousy is just disguised control. Like, they just were insecure men that wanted to be in control of me, especially when I was younger. I really dealt with that shit a lot, and I seen it as confidence, and it wasn't. It was just, like how you said, disguised in other behavior. And so, yeah, that's like a really big red flag for me. It's like jealousy. You have to not see it for that. But like, also, my man don't tolerate disrespect. So like, that gives me the confidence to know, like, I can move.
That shit is hot. I love that.
Yeah, that's heat.
Kenny's the nicest, most easygoing person, but he has that switch. Like, if he needs to stand up for his family, if he needs to be about it, he has that.
For real. I needed to know, like, my man was not about to play.
I need to know that. If not, like, it's funny because I'm the biggest feminist in the world, but I'm still just, a woman bear looking for a male bear to carry her groceries and catch her fish. While telling me that I'm that bitch. I need it all.
Hyping me up.
Fighting never happens in good relationships. This one's really funny to me because people don't believe me. Like, the first 2-3 years of our relationship, we did not fight, to the point that it was almost eerie. And I think we were scared to fight how we had previously fought in other relationships. Thank God we got past that hurdle. Now we fight every once in a while, so we're doing good on that department. But I feel like it's needed. Like, you need to let out frustration, like makeup sex. Like, I need that. I need to have some passion in my relationship.
Okay, I feel like I'm so in awe of you and Kenny not arguing, because even though Lewis is the love of my life, we did not skip that hurdle. Okay, we had to figure out how to argue in a reasonable way. But I feel like one thing that we did, okay, should I not say, it wasn't like we had to argue because we would like scream and fight at each other. It was more like we were both still triggered and would
We
respond
disagree.
from,
Yeah.
like when we're in a disagreement, like my first instinct would be like, I don't want to say to run, but basically like I was preparing for that to end, or like for me to have to like walk away from that relationship, because in
see.
so many fights before, it's like this would lead to something else. Like it wasn't like we were actually resolving a problem, or like they didn't have the emotional capacity to resolve that problem. So I was like, okay, this is going to be like a breakup if I communicate
Or like
this,
in
and it's going to be
previous
whatever.
relationships, it's like you're in an argument and that person is trying to hurt your feelings. They're not
Literally,
trying to
like
say
they're
how
trying
they
to belittle
feel.
you or
They're trying to
something.
hurt you. Yeah.
And win. Like they're trying to win the fight. And I think like this was
Yeah.
the first time where like we were both coming to it, like not trying to win, but like we're both trying to tackle this challenge and like move past it. So fighting is not the vibe, but like trying to take
I think
on
it's
challenges.
necessary.
Yeah. You're going to disagree. Like you're never going to have the same approaches to everything, not parenting, not the way you see your relationship going. Like it's going to be a constant renegotiation of your boundaries, because you're always going to be a new person. So constantly find a
for
safe way to
me-
visit that.
Yeah. God, I lost my train of thought. What was I gonna say?
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It wasn't meant to be on the show. Okay. The next one. Marriage and babies can save relationships. God.
Okay.
Yeah. We both got a lot to say.
Okay, I told you. Good moms
You go first.
said this the fucking best, okay? Do not be a dumb bitch. Babies are never going to save you. Babies are never going to save your relationship.
It makes it worse.
It's going to
You need a
highlight
good
that
foundation
shit.
before having a baby. 100%.
It's going to challenge it's going to rock your whole world. Every core piece of yourself is going to change. And so you need to know that you have someone that's in your corner unconditionally, and not unconditionally, but like is in your corner and is supporting you in a way that's not selfish, that actually wants to be on this journey with you. If you're like still playing detective, if you're still checking in on your man and you think like, oh, you have a baby that'll bring him home, it will not. Do not do that.
You can't force someone to do something they don't want to do.
They're
and
not ready for it.
Not for the long run. You know what I mean? Like, you can pressure someone into doing something right now, but eventually that's going to run out. I feel like with my twins' dad, I was young, I was naive, and I wanted to get married for all the wrong reasons. It's like, we have kids together, we've been together since we were young, like, let's just do it. And I was so set on that shit, and I'm so glad that he didn't marry me, because it's the best thing that could have happened to me. Like, marrying him would have been the worst thing I could have done. And I remember I had a mentor tell me, like, okay, you've been hounding this man to be this person that you want him to be. Let's say tomorrow he pops the question. Okay? Like, you ready to let it go? You ready to move on? You got what you wanted? And it's like, no, I don't want to have to force someone to love me the way that I deserve to be loved. I don't want to have to kick and scream to get what I am deserving of.
I think like that was what I thought I was going to earn by finally like fulfilling that role. I think that my son's dad, we had dated for so long since high school. We had had like so many different conversations of what I like envisioned that was going to be like. And I thought like when I got pregnant, I was like, oh, this is going to be what brings out the potential in him of like all these conversations we talked about. Like this is going to bring it into his reality. And like, that's some dumb shit. Like that's some dumb shit, girl. Like do not do that. It's not gonna make him see you differently. It's not gonna make them, it's not gonna change anything about their behavior. You want someone that like is so excited to take that journey with you that like you're not like, I think there's girls who are still scared to tell the man that they're pregnant and like still want to have a baby with him. Like if you have a moment of fear and you're scared to say something, like, do not do that, because that's going to maximize like that. All those little inklings of feelings are telling you something. Trust those,
girl,
in that moment. Like, trust it.
Whoever's listening right now that does not have kids, think of your worst breakup, the worst relationship you've had that hopefully you are through. Hopefully that's behind you. Okay, now that person's in your life forever. Where do you want to live? What career do you want? Like, all of these decisions that you're making for your life, you actually have to take them into consideration.
You have to ask them for permission. You have to ask them for permission. Not like, oh, you have to consider them. You might have to ask them for permission if you want to take a new move somewhere else. And imagine if that person is hateful or spiteful or mean or whatever. Think about that and decide if you want to have kids with that person.
Listen through our trauma. Learn through our mistakes.
Don't do it. Don't be a dumb bitch.
Don't do it. Okay, another one. Don't go to bed angry.
Okay, so I will say we don't go to bed angry, but we go to bed in a safe place. So like what that looks like for us is like we try and figure out where we can revisit the conversation the next day that won't be from a heated place. So like I usually try and say, hey, this is what's resonating with me right now. Like, this is kind of what I'm feeling, and we don't have to talk about it now. We can revisit it in the morning. And if he can get to that same place and it's like a calm conversation, then we feel like we're good to put it off until the next day. What about you?
Because I feel like one of the things I had to learn in my relationship, like I'm so quick to just want to talk about something or want to resolve something. And even though I think I'm good at it, it's like I'm speaking like too soon. Like I'm not giving my feelings time to settle. I'm really hot-blooded. Like my blood boils. So when I'm pissed, like that's not the time to talk to me. So we have found a really good balance where I know that he needs time to process. And so I would agree with the sense of like, I don't go to bed super, super angry, but I also weigh my options of like, if we have this conversation now, is it just going to end up worse? Like, I think a lot of the times we'll end up like, let's just agree to have, like, let's just pin it. Like, let's just pin it and we'll talk about it tomorrow. Pin it. Yeah. That
is seriously always our go-to thing. You know what? Let's just pin this and we'll revisit it, because I think what I used to, like what was tricky for me is that I usually could process my emotions like quick enough that I could come up with a response that was more put together. And so like I would respond even though I really wasn't ready to give a thoughtful answer. Like I'm just responding. And so that's what I had to stop myself from doing. Is like, even though I could say something in this moment, is it fully thought out? Is this how I'm going to feel later? Is this productive for this moment? Like, you know, I had to, not let my way with words get away from me.
Dude, you have no idea how many times I'm like super pissed off about something. You've heard it, and I'm like venting and I'm like so angry. And then I sleep on it a couple days, sometimes just one, sometimes 2-3 days. And I have so much more clarity, and I'm able to come at the issue from, I don't know,
a
just
fuller
like
perspective.
Yes.
They say time is the best neutralizer, the greatest neutralizer. So it like levels you out. It softens all the triggers. You can sometimes say like, why was I triggered by that? That came from this. Okay, so that wasn't even him. Like that had nothing to do with him. That was my past relationship. Like he didn't even do this. He's never done that before. So I don't know why I'm assuming he might do that today.
I think like being aware also of like, I think about this a lot. Like and I hope this makes sense. Like the time that we're in, we're watching women reclaim power that had been taken from them for centuries or generations. And I think it's like the pendulum swings, and it swings all the way to the opposite direction. Like it's not going to stop in the middle. It goes to all the way the opposite direction. So I think about that sometimes in my relationship with my husband of like, I love you, but I don't really like men sometimes. And like I have all these resentments against men that you shouldn't be held responsible for. But like I saw there's this like new TikTok trend, and it's like basically like my boyfriend or my husband, like this is my, like has discovered my new ick. And it's like just a guy taking a hike or just a guy riding a horse, and she's like so disgusted by it. And like all these women are commenting like, new ick unlocked. Ew, he looks so stupid. Like he looks so stupid. So, but I feel that in my spirit. Like I feel in my spirit, half of me Like, I love men. I want to support them. I want to help heal them. Like, I want to be here to help usher them. The other part of me is resentful and frustrated and tired of dealing with their shit and tired of babying them and tired of watching them cross the street with so much entitlement because they know they're not going to get run over.
Yeah,
So, like,
seriously.
But I'm still a woman in a relationship with a man, you know?
Yeah. And, you know, sometimes I feel like because I don't feel that same resentment all the time, like sometimes I still like, I do feel like compelled to do that healing work for men, and like how much of that is trauma? You know, like Black women's trauma of feeling like we constantly have to heal people. And so like, yeah, I don't know. I think on that, but like also like it's like a resentment that like I have to let go of because I like want that progress for women to not feel like you have to cater to men's wants and needs above your own. And then like also like feeling that, I don't know, that privilege of like getting to let men be soft and safe in a place that they can like actually do the healing work we've been asking them to do, you know?
Right.
So I know we're going on a tangent, but
so many layers, girl.
So many
Me
layers.
and Chelsea could literally have an hour conversation on that. Like, I already know so many layers.
For
and
real.
I think like maybe you should question yourself if you're listening, like all the underlining triggers. Like next time something upsets you, maybe take a minute to really sit on it and be like, oh shit, is this triggering something from my childhood? Is this because fuck the patriarchy? Is this because like what is it? Why? Like why am I feeling this way?
Yeah, and so definitely I would still say myth, you should sleep on things overnight. Like give yourself time to process, see if you were triggered, see if that was something that like literally had nothing to do with that conversation, find the source of your energy, get past to the secondary emotion.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think like really the message we wanted to convey is that don't be fooled by what you see on social media or a snippet into someone's life and think that it's perfect or they have it all figured out or there isn't a lot of work that goes beyond that. And to me, knowing all of that lets me know that it's attainable, and I too can have that. I too can have a healthy relationship because this bitch over here is not perfect and does not always love her or not always excited to see her husband. Sometimes she's annoyed at him or sometimes they argue. Like that to me is so comforting.
Yeah, I think what I needed to know was like, because I came from a single family household, like I didn't know what relationships were supposed to look like. And so I always looked to what they looked like publicly. And I didn't know that that wasn't real. And so when my relationship didn't look like that, it made me feel like it was something I should walk away from, or everything was constantly abuse. And if he wasn't like perfectly interested in me at every moment, we constantly weren't agreeing and wanting to spend time with each other, it was broken. And I had to find out that that isn't it. Like we're going to be two people doing life together, constantly checking in with each other, adjusting our boundaries
Their
to
ebbs, the flows.
keep each other safe and like comfortable, you know. And you're going to have to fuel the parts of your relationship that are keeping it alive and pulling out the weeds along the way
and evolve,
killing it. Yeah,
because I feel like a different person every year. Like I feel the woman Kenny met is not the woman that you see before you today, and the same thing with him. And like you have to find ways to grow together and love each other, and to do that you have to give people space and let them flourish.
Amen.
Yeah. Well, that's really, tells you everything you need to know. Our relationships are perfect. We don't have any flaws. We get along all the time.
Our man loves us.
Everything you see on social
He'll
media, believe it. Believe it, because it's perfect.